The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
Welcome to the Great Debaters Contest. This is our Nyeri edition, and I am your host, Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyumbok. Our motion today is the police should be allowed to use force when provoked by demonstrating citizens. We have Kianyaga High versus Naromoru girls. Who will be the victor, Mariam, in this motion?
The debaters will answer that question. First proposer, you have 3 minutes to wow us.
Gladys Ndongo, Naromoru girls, proposing the motion, police should use force when provoked by demonstrating citizens. What is force? My definition of force is making somebody to do something that they don't want to do, or violent physical action used to obtain and achieve something. Provocation is a cause to a particular reaction. You provoke me by taking something that belongs to me and expect me to just laze around and watch you try persuading me to do something else. No, that's not possible. When pushed to the circumstance, like burning vehicles, recently in Kariobangi, Protestants, anti-IBC Protestants, burnt down a vehicle, but luckily no one got hurt. This is provoking the government. Why should you go on doing things that are not legal to the country? Some leaders are against demonstrations because they clearly understand the diverse effects that demonstrations can cause. Not only will they lead to people getting hurt because of the police using force, but also there will be destruction of property. And of course, tourism sector will drastically drop. You know, everything that we do for a reason. So, to all my opponents, I cannot just laze around and watch the world being led into total confusion by 3 people who are trying to convince them the wrong thing. So for all of you out there, I know that police should use force, because when forced by the circumstance, I need to do what I think is right. I took an oath of conduct, and it's the least I can do to protect the nation against things and people that are trying to lead to us failing. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to make your opening statements.
Use of force is an untimely method to stop demonstrating citizens. I stand here strongly to object the use of violent method which leads to loss of lives, destruction of property, breakage of bond between us and the police forces. And most importantly, it leads to the deterioration of economy of this great nation. What do we mean whenever we say the following terms? Demonstration, provoke, and force. Demonstration is the act of expressing one's feelings and grievances. Force is the physical act so as to achieve something. And provoke means to cross one's boundaries. I, Wilson Muriuki, from Kianyaga High School, I want to strongly oppose that police should be allowed to use force when provoked by demonstrating citizens. It is against the constitution of this great nation to use force to stop demonstrating citizens. The Constitution, it grants its citizens to go on strike, to go on demonstration, so that they can express their grievances. But what happened during the Soweto demonstrations early in 1996? The police used force to stop the peaceful demonstrators who were just trying to express their grievances against racism by the white government. Innocent children were killed. Innocent people their property was destroyed. Here in our own country, in Langata, where the students were trying to express their grievances against land grabbing by the senior officials in this government, what happened to them? The police started throwing tear gases to these peaceful demonstrators who just wanted to express their grievance so that they can own their playground. Use of force, again, deteriorates the problem-solving skills which are inducted during the training of our police officers in this country. In turn, it breeds the use of violent methods, and the perfect one they are using for now is force. It leads to loss of lives again. Many have been killed. A lot of property have been destroyed. For example, in Kisumu, when we had the demonstrators who wanted the disbandment of the IEBC officials, they went to Tuskys, they went to Naivas, and destroyed property. And to my last point, use of force portrays a bad picture of this great nation. As we are talking now, Britain, the relationship between Britain and Kenya is under questions because they are questioning our government due to the ongoing strikes by one of our political alliance in this great nation. Thank you.
We'll hear rebuttals now. Proposition, you have 3 minutes.
Force, you say, is brutality. Force, you say, is violence. Force, you say, is cruelty. But what language do you expect us to speak to you when you can't understand the peaceful terms we bring unto you? You expect me, a police officer, to stand by, watch you destroy property, watch you beat other people on the streets, and you expect me to stand by and watch. Do you? And what part of the Constitution does it mandate people to transgress other people's rights? You say that the Constitution allows you to demonstrate. It's okay, it allows you to demonstrate. But does it allow you to go closing other people's jobs and destroying property? Does it? As the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. I'd like to alter this a little bit. I would like to say, spare the whip, spoil the citizens. Furthermore, we've tried all peaceful negotiation methods. We have. And you don't listen. I think it's because of this ego you say you have. You can't listen. And you expect us to stand by. No, we won't. You also close the roads. You close down roads. You take people back. Our jobs are waiting for us. And you close down the roads. Where do you expect us to will pass, oh dear God? And you expect the police to stand by and do nothing. We ask you peacefully, please open the roads for us. We want to go to our jobs. You go to town demonstrating and you still expect us to stand by and watch. How do you expect me, a police officer, to stand, watch you throw stones at me? According to my biology, I'm made of blood, I'm made of flesh, and I'll bleed, and I can't stand by watching you destroy me. I can also die. The law also enhances on police enforcement. The law protects the police. It does. In Siaya, as you said, 2 people were killed. Don't you know in the same Siaya, 29 police officers were injured, a whole bunch of 29 police officers. And as we speak right now, 10 are still in the ICU, and you still speak about rights? What rights are those? According to my oath of protection, I swore to protect the citizens. I did. And I will protect the citizens. I'd rather stand for the 40 million citizens other than stand for a few thousand demonstrating citizens who are on the roads claiming to be on their rights, and you hurt others. I will quell the 1,000 other than letting a whole 40.2 million people suffer. Thank you.
Opposition will hear your rebuttal. You have 3 minutes.
The use of force in our nation is the main contributor to police brutality in our state. In case of violence, the police set up brutal action and drive into demonstrating citizens to stop and curb these demonstrations. Making my acquaintances, I'm Bill Karaoke from Kianyaga High School. I would like to correct on the point of demonstrations, as my fellow proposer has just said, that these demonstrations, the demonstrators come in peace. They come in peace to reveal out their grievances so that they can be heard. But let's observe it. Who throws the first punch? This is seen as police officers, they start the violence. Due to frustrations of life, they come and enact them on these citizens. Indeed, physical strength solves nothing. Instead, it fuels violence and promotes a fresh start to chaos and provokes. What do you expect when you stand before a hungry dog and prevent it from reaching its chunk of meat? What do you expect when you wake that sleeping baby? Think about it. This is seen as you reveal your grievances, you are able to save your community from shame. The government is able to come up with rules, come up with ways to solve these problems. Since the beginning of this year, the police have been using live bullets to curb the demonstrating citizens. This leads to death of many innocent citizens. For example, a woman in Kibra who was attacked by a stray bullet as she was relaxing in her home. A child who was attacked by that stray bullet when he was watching ongoing demonstrations. In 1976, citizens in South Africa went to the streets to demonstrate about their racial segregations. The police stopped these citizens from entering into the respective offices to reveal their grievances. Let's observe it. When you stop demonstrating citizens who come in peace to reveal out their grievances, what occurs? Indeed, force occurred and violence uprooted from these demonstrations. This led to many damages and injury of citizens. In conclusion, civil obedience is not our problem. Our problem is civil obedience. The problem is that people all around the world are following dictates of our leaders. The problem is that people are following the obedience of the leaders, and petty thieves are lying there in the jails while grand thieves are ruling our country. They are words for violence. This is not liberty. This is not justice. But neither is it an act of trust between the police service and the fellow citizens. Thank you.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
Thank you, audience, for those questions. The proposers have been asked that in the event that police use force to stop protesters from destroying property, which is more important, the life of the protester or the property? And the opposition have been asked if they are not contradicting themselves when they state that during demonstrations, destruction of property occurs. We'll have them respond. Proposal number 3, you have 3 minutes.
Why not use force? Does it hurt? Cynthia Wanjera, Naromoru Girls, hereby proposing the motion that police should be allowed to use force on provoking citizens who are demonstrating. To answer the question that was put across, I believe that me, personally, as a police officer, I took an oath in the office to protect public land, to protect the human life. But let's take, for instance, in the demonstrations that take place in the country, for instance, how many killings can we say that have occurred in the demonstrations? I believe there are just a few killings or death of people. Actually, as I took that oath, I said that I'm going to protect the land. I'm going to protect the public property that was put across for everyone to benefit it. I beg to differ with my fellow opposer here, who he posed the question on who brought the provocation first. In many demonstrations, many citizens tend to throw stones as the first provokers to the police. As my fellow proposer here said, I'm not going to stand and watch people risking my life by throwing stones at me. It's going to cost me life. I'm going to get injured in the process. Mosquitoes are common insects that we are all familiar with. Once a mosquito comes by near your ear, I believe that you're going to brush it off, right? The same thing applies to us as police officers. Stubbornness among the citizens. You are warned, tear gases are thrown to you, but what do? You come back and continue provoking us. In the process, we're going to use the whips that we were granted by the government. Demonstrators are a threat to the country, the peace, the stability, and the security in the country. So, as I said earlier, I took an oath to protect the country and to maintain the peace and stability in the country. Let me do my job. In fact, I'm allowed. The demonstrators, as we all know, they come out as crowds. What do? They lead to blockage in the roads, this leading to the traffic jams. I believe in the traffic, we have the doctors who are going to save a patient's life. We have the teachers who are waiting, who are going to teach the students to create the future leaders. Therefore, my dear opposers, please just let me do my job. Join me and propose the motion with me. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
As for the guy who asked the question way over there, I wanted to tell you that you did not answer. You did not get what the first speaker said. What he said is that demonstration leads to destruction of property. He didn't say that the demonstrators are the one who are destroying the property. When the police are trying to force the demonstrators away, this leads to commotion. And when they lead to commotion, it leads to destruction of property. Instead of that, they should show them the correct route so that they can get to the relevant offices. On to my first point. I think the proposers, they are basing their points on the fact that they think that demonstrating and rioting is the same. I want to make it clear that demonstrating is the disruption of the normal activity so as one can demand for his right, while rioting is a violent way of expressing one's grievances. Edward Karaoke, Kianyaga High School. Do you want force, which is by the way inhumane, to be used on someone because he's just disrupting his normal activity so that he can demand for his rights? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Everything begins from humble beginnings. If you give police the role, the ability to use force when they want, you won't know when they'll turn it against us. You won't know when they'll start using it for their benefits. Better safe than sorry. There are other methods apart from using of force. There is crowd control methods, e.g. crowd barriers and stanchions, etc. The list is endless. We cannot use force. It might lead to injuries or even worse, deaths. Allowing the police officers to use force. This will create a barrier between the police officers and the citizens. This will lead to conflict. If not, it will lead to the police officers. They won't be able to do their functions well because there's information they need from the citizens. And if I know that a police officer brutally hit me, I cannot give him the information he needs. Wataka kuharibu nchi yetu kwa siku moja, Kenya tuliojenga kwa miaka 40. In case you're wondering, those words are not mine. They are the words of a police officer with a vision. A police officer who is provoked, but he didn't let those provocations get to his head. He used them to think twice, and he thought dialogue is the answer. That is not the only example that I've got. I got another example. Another police officer was caught on camera talking to an angry mob of demonstrators. They were demonstrating about their rights. And the police officer, after telling them that he will assist them to get to the relevant offices, he assisted them. As I rest my argument, I would like to inform you that the Bureau of Statistics confirmed that not less than 4,183 people died in the demonstrations between 2003 and 2009 during demonstration. Do you still want force to be used on people because of being provoked during demonstrations? Thank you.
We'll hear closing statements. Proposers, you have 1 minute.
I think, yeah, there are better conflict resolution methods. But seriously, which ones have worked? I stand in front of a crowd, tell them to stop using the provoking me. Tell them to stop provoking me. They use violent methods. That's what you call provoking. They use violent methods for us. And I stand there. Yes, there are better methods of resolution. I try them, and they don't work. And you expect me to stand there. I'll still use the force. I will. I'll instill force on you. I'll work on you so that other people out there who want to come and demonstrate, let them demonstrate peacefully. Don't provoke the police. Let them demonstrate peacefully. And we won't have a problem with you. Don't provoke the police. I'd rather protect a whole country other than 1,000 people. For we don't want to cause another world war. Thank you.
Opposition, you have a minute for your final submission as well.
We can't allow where the rule of the jungle prevails, where citizens do not solve their issues peacefully. In 2007, when we had demonstrations and the post-election violence, we still had our police force. When they fought and the citizens killed each other, why did we encourage the police force to continue fighting the citizen? Instead, we called Kofi Annan to come and settle these parties together, and the solution was found. So, to my proposers, I'm saying that force will just bring the chaos to a fresh situation in our mind. I'm encouraging dialogue so that we can propel this country to the greater heights. Thank you.
I'll address Naromoru girls. Gladys' interesting opening statement. Issues not very good issues raised. Property destruction, fine. It affects tourism, glossed over your issues. Christine, interesting issues again raised. Passionate delivery, and in fact, of the three of you, I rated you the highest. Passionate delivery, very composed, you really know what you're talking about, and you really bring out the issues well. Cynthia, again, I just had a question on this. Few people died. But my question is, even if it is one person, don't belittle the life of someone. Don't just say, in as much as there was demonstrations, only a few people died, and therefore that doesn't matter. Somebody can say the life of one person, not somebody can say, I'm saying the life of one person is very important, and therefore we should protect life, whether it is lives, whether it is the life of one person, whether it's the life of a child, a woman, a man, all should be protected. So don't belittle the lives of people in the name of maybe protecting the property. Otherwise, well-executed motion, but I believe there are a number of things that you could have done maybe to make the motion more interesting or to make the execution very interesting. At the end of the debate, you know, I'm torn. Do I support this or I don't support this? Possibly you needed to convince me a little bit more whether to agree with you or to disagree with you. Fair presentation.
Kianyaga High School. To Wilson, thanks for defining the terms, the key terms in the motion. And of course, I would like to suggest that you need to validate your sources every time you give examples. And of course, I love the examples you gave, including even the Langata Primary School kids who were demonstrating. Bill, you know, I felt it was funny when you said the police are releasing their stresses on people, maybe because of their own issues as well. So it's kind of a thin line. But you see, the question still stands out. What if the demonstrators themselves are armed? I think that would have been a case that you would have used as well to say why force should not be allowed and when it should be allowed, okay? And I think also the other side as well should have looked into that. Edward, you know, you gave a very good term of this particular officer who gave the example of a very good quote, I mean, during the post-election violence. I think it was good for you to contextualize it and say this was during what time, okay? But thanks for interpreting it. Good attempt as well. I think for Kianyaga, The teamwork was a plus for you, and the fact that you really tackled the motion with the facts that you brought forth on the table. All the best.
The scores are as follows. Naromoru girls, you have 65%. Please give them a round of applause. Kianyaga High School slightly edges out Naromoru with 67%, making them all winners.
Congratulations to the two teams on stage. We'd also like to thank you, our studio audience, and our viewers back home for watching. Please keep it at Great Debaters Contest. Follow us on Twitter at Great Debaters EA. And I am Austin Nyumbok.
I am Mariam Bishar. Thank you for watching.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.